When you first get going, folks, you got to really control your emotions. You first get started, you're sitting there and you wanted to get in the business, and you might, if you went out and you might have bought a business package through JRA, or you got a franchise, or you just went out and you decided to do something on your own. You get started and you expect to get out there and light the world on fire, and the jobs really don't come in. Don't get discouraged. You got to keep doing it. You got to commit to really getting your business successful. When you first get started, no matter if you've just been doing it a year, working on a year, you haven't made a serious commitment. You got people you're competing against that have been going at it for several years. You're not going to be able to make up a couple years, 2-3 years of decent work by 1 year of hard work on your end. It's going to take a little longer, guys. So you got to control your emotions when you start slow. If you start fast, or you get to the point where you're making good money, you got a lot of business coming in, you're really just kicking ass. And you've had 4 weeks in a row of just awesome work. You've been doing $25,000, $30,000 a month or something like that. Then you're doing great, and next thing you know, you want to go out and you want to buy a new pickup truck and buy a new car, get an expensive wedding ring, something like that. Maybe you got a junk removal truck that's doing good. You're not ready to add a second truck because of business yet, but you got a junk removal truck that's doing decent, but it's a bit older and you want to upgrade. You go out there and you start buying stuff like crazy. All of a sudden, business starts slowing down. You're like, shit, what the hell happened? Where's my work? You start sweating, you start worrying, you start wondering, am I doing something wrong? You start trying questioning everything up to that point. You've been doing great, you're questioning. You're saying, well, shit, I ain't getting business. I've been slow for 3 days, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks. I'm going to change everything that just worked for the couple months in a row. I'm going to change it all because I got to because I got all these. I went out and I bought this new truck, F-150 truck. I got an $800 a month car payment on it, lease payment, whatever. I got these bills to pay. I got this wedding ring I just paid for. I got a wedding to pay for, expensive wedding to pay for. You made all these commitments because you started doing good, and it slowed down. Got slow on you. It's gonna happen, guys. This business, and most business in general, is very cyclical, and you can't even explain it sometimes. You're gonna have busy times, you're gonna have slow times, especially at the start. Once you get a bit more established, it might be busy and slow, but you don't go dead slow. You could be so damn busy you can't hardly keep up, but you're never really gonna go where you have no jobs and you're real slow, you got little going on. If you've made a commitment, you're doing what you should do, you've been in business 3, 4, 5 years, you ain't gonna really have the times where you're just like freaking depressed. But the other part is you've been through some downturns when you first start. When you first get going, you got to control your emotions. You can't let the highs get you too high. You can't let the lows get you too low. You can't let the lows or the highs have you make irrational decisions. If you're extremely busy, you can't be going out there and buying a bunch of shit you really don't need. The only stuff you need to be buying when you go through your first busy spell is stuff that's going to lead to you making more daggone income. More income. The luxury's got to be put off, guys. You got to put off today so you can have a kick-ass tomorrow in this business or in any business you're in. You got to 100% make a freaking commitment. On the other end of the spectrum, you can be just as damn dangerous by, when things get slow, making wholesale changes, making website changes, making advertising changes, changing words around, building land, changing your web pages around, changing your truck graphics around, firing people, hiring people, changing your pay rate, starting to pay people more because you think, so they stay around. You don't want to make those decisions when you're slow. If you've been busy before, what you're doing is working. You want to tweak very little when you're slow. Maybe you want to look into it and see what's going on, see what your competition's doing. You want to understand and get data. Don't make very many changes when you're slow. Certainly don't make wholesale changes because you could have made a good change that's masked by a bad change. So when racing, we used to race. We'd be racing. And the car, it might be loose, it might be tight, it might not, it could be in the center of getting in the entry of the corner, through the entry you're loose, and then through the center of the corner and coming off you're tight. The car doesn't want to turn. You don't want to try and fix both problems at once. You want to fix one issue to start with, probably the loose entry to start with, and then worry about addressing the other problems. If you try and fix all 3 things at once, you make 3 different adjustments on the car, you could have made a good one that then turned into a bad one. Control your emotions. You're going to be successful in this business. If you let your emotions go all over the place, then you're going to be out of business within a year, year and a half, 6 months maybe. So you've got to control your emotions to be successful in any business, especially in a business like junk removal, which is very much feast or famine.